Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, Josh. Welcome. So the podcast is called Pommin Around.
Okay.
Yes, and you're my first guest.
Wow.
So congratulations.
Thank you. I feel honored.
You should be. You should be. But yeah, the podcast, as I said before, this is about my move from France to Australia. You did the opposite.
I did.
You are Australian and you moved to France. That's where I saw you for the first time, was in France, in Paris.
Yes.
You were performing at Comedy Lab.
Yes.
Yes. I don't think I introduced myself to you then. Or maybe I did. I don't remember.
Actually, I was performing. Yeah, you were just in the crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't performing that night. I was going through like a tough period.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to go see some comedy.
Wow.
Just to get inspired, forget about my problems. And I saw you and I thought you were very funny.
Thank you.
And you're just so like energetic. Like I think people just like immediately liked you.
Wow.
When you're on stage. And I'm drawn to those people in some ways. But yeah, no, it's a compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll write it down.
You should.
I'll put it for my show.
But you know this, right?
I know I have a lot of energy. Yeah.
Yes.
And I use it on stage.
Yeah.
That's why I actually liked hosting. I think
Oh, really?
I was good at hosting because I don't care to just come on and be like, wah!
Yeah, I'll say. And also, like, you're a very likable person.
Mm.
I think people just enjoy the show a little bit more.
Yeah.
When you're likable.
It's true. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even have to be that funny if you can just like inject some energy into
exactly.
the crowd.
Yeah. Because people just believe in you
Yeah.
a little bit more because you're just so confident than if you're just really funny but like timid.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's true.
Have you always been like very energetic or?
I've always had a lot of energy, but I wasn't necessarily always confident.
Hmm.
I was pretty shy as a kid.
Oh, really?
When I was really little.
Okay.
But then once I got warmed up,
yeah,
I wouldn't shut up.
Okay.
And I had a lot of energy.
Okay.
So I think the confidence in front of others was something I had to develop.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I was the opposite, where like I was really confident when I was a kid, and then gradually, especially through the teenage years, with like judgment, people, I just lost my confidence. But then afterwards with stand-up, it's brought it back again.
Mm.
But yeah, there was a period where I was like, I wasn't the kid I was once before. Because my parents would talk about me as a kid, like being like, you were just so confident that you'll speak to people all the time. Or just go up to people, randoms, people, and just like, bring up a conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't have that anymore, maybe. Well, I do a little bit, but not as much.
You lost it.
I lost it. But I was it's coming back.
Yeah, stand-up helps.
Yeah, exactly.
If you let it, it can help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Get confident.
Okay, so did you start in Paris or did you start here in Australia?
It was literally 2 years ago from like this point in time. I had done a lot of improv.
Okay, yeah.
And was working office jobs. And then I went to this girl from my work had a friend who did comedy and did sketches. And she's like, you should go talk to her because like she does sketches and improv and stuff. And she invited me to this girl's birthday roast.
Yeah, okay.
And I went to her roast and I had never met her.
Yeah.
And it was pretty awkward because like she just got like a lot of male comedians and they pretty much all just slut shamed her.
Oh, really?
Like they were all very one note jokes that I didn't even think was that true. I was like,
yeah.
So I was kind of like, this girl just got like slaughtered for seemingly no reason.
Was she enjoying it at least? Was she
I think
laughing?
she liked it. I think she was like, that's part of her persona, maybe, which is maybe why they had a lot of those jokes.
Interesting. Yeah, it's always, I had a roast before I left France.
Yeah.
And there were a few people that I did not know, like they weren't friends, they weren't work colleagues that came. And it must be weird for them watching somebody just get pulverized.
I think so.
By other strangers.
Especially because when you don't know anyone is like I feel like when they do it with celebrities, people tend to know, there's jokes that the general populace watching understands. But when you're so out of the loop, it's like, is this true about them?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that funny?
Exactly, yeah. And sometimes it's like inside jokes that not other people get.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
definitely. I think there was a lot of that night. Like a lot of the comedians on stage were laughing and everyone else in the audience was like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, then that night had a drink. It was a bar as well. It's a big pub in South Melbourne.
Okay.
And went down and I was talking to this guy and he's like, do you do comedy? And I was like, I've actually always kind of thought of it, but I've never done it.
Yeah.
He's like, you should do it. They do a stand-up course here if you're like too scared.
Okay.
And the guy who hosted the stand-up course was there randomly and I did it. And so I did that for 4 days and then I got to perform.
Okay.
And then I tried it again in Melbourne like 2 months later, but it was an open mic gong show. And it went well for me, but I still was like, I hated that. That was a horrible environment. All the people doing it, I just felt like the room felt like horribly anxious and like negative. And I was like, I don't like this at all. I've worked really hard to get like positive. I used to kind of, as a teenager, was pretty like depressed and sarcastic.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've kind of grown out of that and it's not something I want to go back to.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
And so I gave it up for like, I just didn't do it again for like 7-8 months.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then I was in Sydney for 2 months and my friend had sent me, there was like an amateur open like comedy night that some guy was running near where I was staying. So I was like, oh, and I had kept running into people in the street in Melbourne. They were like, are you still doing comedy? And I was like, no. And they were like, why not? And I was like, I want to do acting. And then, but all these, I kind of felt like everywhere I turned, someone was like, are you still doing comedy? And I was like, why do did you not fucking hear me? I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then I tried it again twice in Sydney. I was like, And then I moved to Paris. And it was after a few months in Paris. I actually did some auditions for theatre while I was there.
Yeah.
And every time I ended up just being like, I need to do me. And I did me for these auditions in the same week.
Okay.
And it was like kind of absurd and strange and weird and funny.
Okay.
And afterwards they were all like, you're not very good for this role, but like you should do like one-man shows or like comedy.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, fine. And after I did this weird thing where I had to dance. It was like a audition where they wanted you to sing and I can't sing. So I was like, I'm going to dance instead. And I did Sweet Transvestite from Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is so camp.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't sing. I'm just going to show off my dance skills because I had to be from a theatre show. So I had to a cappella in this huge squeaky hall in Paris to like 3 people in this huge room spread out, like sing and dance that. And they were just like, I could tell they were like horrified, but also really like, wow, this is insane. Nice. And afterwards I left that and I kind of laughed to myself on the street of like, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
And I can do and I signed up for an open mic that week.
Yeah.
And then I just started, I was like, I need to just do stand up more. And force myself. I kind of looked at it as like, you know, when a kid doesn't want to swim, but you're like, it's good for you.
Yeah.
I was like, this is good for you. And you're going to get scared at some points because you're going to think it's not for you. And like, not a lot of the comedians are like me.
Is that what you're feeling?
I think that's what I realized I was feeling is like, and I was trying to do kind of dry punchlines and I was like, I don't find it funny myself. And then I kind of had the click of like, after doing it for 2 months in Paris, I went traveling for like 2 months. And then when I was coming back to Paris, I was like, wait, I know exactly what I need to do. I kind of done it a little in those few months when I was doing it in Paris, of like bringing more of myself and what I actually like into it. And then once I started doing that more, I really enjoyed it. And I got better and I could tell I was getting booked more because it was like more natural.
Yeah, more natural. And also it's very different because the stand-up scene in Paris is very small.
Yeah.
Like it's only new. It's only like maybe 10 years, 12 years old.
Yeah.
So there's not much like sketch or clowning. No. Now it's becoming a little bit. It's starting to grow. There's a few, Donna and Noah, Melina, they're starting to grow that, to expand it. But yeah, it was very new. So like when I first started doing stand-up in Paris, it was just more like jokes.
Yeah.
And before that, it was more jokes about Paris and Parisians. Yeah. And but yeah, it was nothing very, very theatrical or absurd.
Yeah.
More observational.
Definitely.
But they are bringing something new.
It's kind of, and it's strange because they have all the, like I started doing some of the alt comedy nights.
Yeah, how was that?
It was fun. I loved it.
Okay.
I think that really opened up something for me the first night.
Yeah.
It was actually one night I did it at just a standard open mic at Le Kibble.
Oh, okay.
And at Blastoff. And I was like, I'm sick of telling the same jokes to the same 5 guys.
And
I was like, and getting blank faces because they just don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, I'm going to do something fucking weird because I'm over it. And
I was probably one of those 5 guys.
Not at that time, but like at some points maybe. But, and I was just did this strange character. and it did well, and I felt like, wow, that was fun. That was fun to do.
Yeah.
And then I did an alt night, and I did it again, like more ridiculously. And it kind of like I danced to Scatman in a nappy on stage.
Really?
Yeah, because the double meaning of scat.
Yeah.
And as like some awkward French man who then does drugs and goes to the club and then reveals that he's like a freaky little scat man. And it felt so freeing.
Yeah.
I felt like, wow, after dancing in a nappy on stage, and it was like, this isn't like, the music isn't very loud. You can see all the people. The lighting isn't like great. And so it's kind of like, you're very obviously aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of helped me a lot. And I was like, yeah, it's strange because there's so many, now that I've been back in Melbourne too, there's a lot of people who have done the clowning schools there who are here doing comedy.
Yeah.
And it means there's a lot of alt comedy here, surprisingly.
You did Elsa's workshop. How was that?
It was really good. Yeah. I did this clown workshop just literally the past 2 days.
Yeah.
And
what was it called? Because I did a workshop with her in Adelaide.
Actually, I can't remember what it's called. Clowning and the Five Senses, maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe.
Because I know she has
a few.
Yeah, she has a few. I think I did Introduction into Clowning.
Yeah. I wonder if it was that. Maybe it was that.
Yeah, because I know she has one about animals as well.
Okay. Maybe I did the same one as you. It could have been, I don't know if we would have done the same exercises.
Yeah, probably. What did you do?
First we did the hand exercise.
Yeah, you have to look at your hands
Yeah.
and like move and then find somebody else's hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so maybe we did. And then yesterday is what I can remember better.
Maybe she just has the same workshop, just change the name.
Yeah. I think so. It could be. I mean, it's probably the same exercises. Yeah. There's only so many exercises you can teach people in like a short, for the people who do like a whole year intensive of clowning and get beaten down. But then and it can be kind of confronting. I even felt so exhausted after Saturday.
Yeah, it is.
Of like, because you get told exactly how you come across.
And yeah, she's very honest. That's what I liked about her. She was like really very direct.
She's very direct, but still like actually kind.
Yeah.
Which I think sometimes, from what I heard from clowning, people, it's just very honest.
Yeah.
And she had like an edge of like, which I think is helpful too, because you don't often get that direct feedback.
Yeah.
Of specifics. Sometimes you just get, don't like it, but you don't get just more how you're coming across to people.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you can get better at being comfortable with.
Exactly. And what did you learn anything about yourself? Like,
yeah, she kind of, when I had to come out, the first exercise, you just have to come out and stand there for like the first few minutes and like just take in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I started turning to like imitating them. And she said like when people would laugh, I would shut it down.
Yeah, okay.
And she's like, are you not comfortable with receiving praise?
Oh,
and I was
really?
like,
like a therapy lesson.
Yeah.
You know?
And then she asked about childhood and school and said I get really defensive when I feel like people are laughing at me or I get defensive with the silence. And I thought that's kind of interesting. She's like, this isn't stand up. You don't have to come on and prove your dominance to the crowd.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, I guess there's an element of that in stand up when I think I have felt inside, you know, you need to come out and prove how confident and bold you are so that no one like jumps at you.
Yeah. No one attacks you. Yeah.
And I think it was like where I grew up was really rough and a lot
really?
of most of my family was just like blokes who who are like not like I was.
Yeah.
And I felt really out of place and mocked, I think, in that environment growing up, and I really was desperate to leave. And I think that has come up in it was funny because it's the only feeling I've ever had that is like when I've done gong shows or competitions.
Yeah, you felt
some defensiveness towards like rowdy blokes to be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And I think that's what came up again. And so it was interesting for me to be like, yeah, there's some lack of comfortability with being seen properly, you know, which I think everyone has, is like trying to control how we're seen a little more.
Exactly, yeah.
Instead of just showing which is what clowning is, you have to show those softer bits.
Yeah.
And I think I'm good at showing it in a certain way, but in a way, like, I don't know,
but you're still kind of
bright
controlling
energy
it.
and like coming across confident as opposed to, that softer just facing the audience and letting it develop without you steering it or trying to do one-liners to make it yours.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I want to get more into like clowning.
Yeah.
But when I did the workshop, she said that I had like that I'm like naturally funny.
Yeah.
In the sense that like I didn't have to like do much.
Yeah.
Like I would just like, for example, there was an exercise and you had to pretend to be like a rocket.
Oh, yeah.
But before doing a rocket, you have to walk on stage and present yourself.
Yeah.
And just be like, "Hello, my name is Alex, and I'm gonna be a rocket."
Yeah.
And just by saying that, I'd get a laugh. And that at first I was like really confused by it because I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't trying to be funny because you always have people, and she noticed this and she would tell people off if you're trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And I was just being myself, just being like, "Hello, my name is Alex," and she would always laugh, and she'll just be like, "Oh, you have like so like you're just innocent, like we believe you when you said that," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that about me."
Yeah.
That I'm just like this. Yeah, I don't know. It comes up to my mind from time to time. I'm trying to analyze that.
Yeah.
Like why people were laughing just when I was presenting myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's good things that's what you're saying is like keep recording yourself when you perform and see when people laugh.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it might be something just about you and you need to accept it and like own it.
Exactly, yes. That's what I need to learn. I need to learn to accept it and earn it.
Yeah.
That just by being me, I make people laugh.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bit like you, where like I'm more of a one-liner punch, like a kind of guy, like trying to write a clever written joke. That's my kind of comedy. And I feel like I always have to try and like outsmart the audience with my clever jokes.
Yeah.
And I realized that maybe I don't have to do that. That I could just be me or be silly.
Yeah, I think
and get a laugh like that, and people would like it more.
Sometimes I think it's like we can get so caught up in. I have two of like it needs to be the twistiest, sharpest joke, but people really just want to laugh.
Exactly,
they just want to have fun. So it's like
exactly
when you can use whatever makes them laugh, even if it's silly. It's like getting comfortable with being like. It all works. It all doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true that.
It's more for the other comedians sometimes that I think we're trying to be the smartest. Like,
yeah, maybe.
They're the ones who are judging that more than the general audience, I would say.
Yeah, you kind of want to be like a comedian where...
But it doesn't matter. I guess it gets you booked, but it doesn't necessarily. Not really, because the crowd has to really
I think the crowd has the most power in that situation because if you're a killer... Who cares what you're... Who cares if the comedians like you as long as you bring people in and they're enjoying it. Yeah.
It's true.
But it is true. Well, like when you're especially at open mics, because it's mostly comedians in the audience.
That's why you don't always know what's working.
Yeah.
Because it can just be like, the other comedians. I had that sometimes at certain open mics and like people weren't liking, but then that stuff would really work with audiences. Yeah. Like it really depends sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes comedians can be a little jealous, you know?
Yeah.
Like if they see something different.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm a little bit like that where if I see something different, I'm like, oh, what's this? Like I'm not necessarily laughing. Like I feel like you're a big laugher.
Yeah. I am a big laugher.
You like enjoy, like when you see something different, you enjoy it, you embrace it.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know, I'm a bit more kind of like if I see something different on stage, I'm like, oh, I'm more curious.
Yeah. I think that's true. I think that's what I had found mostly from other comedians at open mics is when I'm doing something different.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, and even if afterwards they're like, that was kind of funny, they weren't laughing. They were just like,
exactly.
watching me like, what?
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
he doing?
Yeah.
And so you don't know. Whereas I think I am actually really, even the clowning, I love the strange different stuff. And I feel like I notice in myself, even in the clowning class, that I laugh like loudly at when I find something funny.
Yeah, I remember when I took you to the feminist trash.
Yeah.
I think you were like one of the first people to laugh.
Yeah.
And I noticed it because I was like, okay, good. He likes the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you went to see Elsa's solo, right?
Yeah.
And what did you think of it?
It was so good. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I
think
really
it's my favorite
it.
I've seen.
Really?
Because it's just like, I don't know, it had the clown elements, but it was really tight and professional and like.
You can kind of tell it was very professional.
You can tell. It's like so sharply construct, like every element, and just how she can mime a scene of multiple people, and it's almost like you're not clocking, it's just her.
Yeah.
Like she sweeps you up in the story of each person so quickly.
That is true. Like I'm just thinking about the scene where she's doing like the
windmill.
I'm talking about the mythical.
Oh yeah.
Where she's talking about the Minotaur. I think there's
like
Minotaur.
Yes,
there's
and Medusa.
And Medusa. Yeah, and it's just true. Like when I'm thinking back on it, I see like 5 different people.
Yeah.
But there was only one person on stage.
Yeah.
But in my head, I see. Yeah, it is crazy how.
It's really impressive. Yeah.
What I found really funny is like during the workshop, she would always be like, "Oh, Philippe at Gaulier would always say."
Yeah.
She would always say that. She would always reference the Gaulier school in Paris and this guy called Philippe. Like, oh, Philippe.
She didn't do it as much, but I've had teachers like that. Like, I did a Meisner, it's just like an acting technique.
Yeah.
And it's the same. The teacher's always referencing like Sanford Meisner. He used to say.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, yeah.
Cool.
Gaulier. And she'll say it with a French accent.
Gaulier.
Gaulier. Yeah. Awesome. Nice. And so have you seen any other shows?
I've seen so many shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly clowning?
Actually, yeah, randomly. I haven't seen any just straight up stand up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can sit through. I found this that I was here 2 years ago and I was working for Time Out and I went to a lot of stand up. I find it really hard to sit through an hour of straight up stand up.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
I think. Although I'm seeing, but I don't think she does stand up either. There's a girl called Eloise Eftos.
Yeah, I've seen
Australia's attractive comedian.
Yeah.
But I don't think she does just straight up stand up either.
No, she can do a little bit. She does a little bit of sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Where it's like she'll play like a character. You should definitely see it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it Thursday.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I know her. I worked with her. Like I booked her on a few shows, and she's really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she has a great crowd work moment. You'll see.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And also she has like little games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, and you have your own show.
Yes, I do.
And you have 2 shows, right? You're doing
Actually,
one tomorrow.
I have one tomorrow night. I'm hosting like a cabaret variety show.
Okay. Is it like Easter Bunny themed? Like
yeah, it's Easter themed because I was doing them in Paris, and we did like a Christmas themed and a Valentine's themed.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Which is somewhat childish, but it gets people really into it. And I do find it gives the acts, even for myself, when you have, I don't know, some form of parameters, it makes you get more specific about what you do.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. We're going to see because it's the first one being back in Melbourne and the comedy festival's on that I was just like.
How was it back in Paris when you did the Christmas one? Because I saw on the Instagram you were dressed as like the Grinch.
Yeah, I was the Grinch in that. It was really good. Both nights were really fun. Like the crowd so got on board.
Yeah.
And it was fun though hosting with my friend Brittany, like we were doing it together. Yeah. And that's what I realized here. I'm doing it alone. Whereas we would always establish like a dynamic between the hosts.
Okay. Yeah. Where did I've never met Brittany.
Yeah.
Or how did you meet her? Was she your friends?
We were working on a film together in the summer.
Okay.
Because she had done a lot of acting too. And then it was like through this acting teacher I had, and then she also joined that same class afterwards. And so she had more like theatre background and musical theatre and acting. And that's why we kind of combined it because we were going to a lot of English speaking theatre shows and things in Paris as well as comedy. And we were both like, no one's doing themed, glitzy, like, I don't know. The hosts aren't getting in character. And we just want something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if they do it in French. I don't think even.
I don't think because I don't even think I've seen this in French. Like cabaret in Paris is a bit more serious.
Yeah,
this was really like campy.
Yeah,
I'd say this is more American what we were doing. It's not even like
maybe
like the style of it.
I wonder why. Do you think it's because it's like French, like of like judgment? Like
I think it seems like cheesy and corny and classless.
Yeah, exactly.
doing these things to them. It's more, or like sophisticated clowning that's deeper. That's what they like. Whereas this was just nonsense. We were just like, this one's silly nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want anything to be serious. I don't care. I don't.
Yeah.
Just for one night, that's just crazy. Like whatever.
And did you enjoy doing it?
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah,
it was the most fun. Awesome. Both nights doing it.
Don't you get stressed before, like, oh, I have to put on like a good show?
No.
Or you just know that I'm just gonna be silly. I think I can either enjoy it or hate it.
Yeah, I think it just kind of helped. I was doing a lot in all the stuff I was doing in Paris.
Yeah,
just made me build up a lot of resilience of I'm doing my thing, it's different.
Yeah.
And the more I would do it, the more fun I would have.
And the more different it is, people would like enjoy it because they've never seen that before.
And I would get in my head to start with about like, oh, they're going to like it. And then I was like, you literally can't worry about that. You just have to, am I going to like it? And then I started realizing the more I focused on that, then people were liking it in general more because it was ridiculous. And you're letting yourself be silly. And sometimes that's all people really want is like, when you get up there and be really silly, it kind of gives them permission to let go a little.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see that.
Even I found that in the cabaret shows is like the crowd never seemed too like scared of us because it was all a bit like, you know, it didn't seem aggressive or scary, I think. But both nights were really fun. And I feel like all the performers really got into it too. It was just like fun nights.
Okay, awesome. And so tomorrow's show, you're just hosting it?
Yeah, I'm hosting it and doing a bit in the middle.
Okay.
I'm hosting as the Easter Bunny.
That's
and it's the same. Everyone's like got the task of adding Easter somehow to their act.
How did you prepare for that? Are you just going to go in like...
I have like bits. Like when I did the Grinch and then I did Cupid for the Valentine's show.
Yeah.
And essentially... I used like bits of stand-up jokes that I knew worked, but then just twisted them to make them Grinchy.
Yeah, I see.
Like the Grinch telling the story. And I've done the same with this. It's like there's new bits, but there's also bits I know that I've done that I just turned into this perspective of the Easter Bunny character. And and just choreograph some dance numbers for it as well that I'm going to do. Because every show we've started with a dance routine. So it's
really?
like, it gets the energy up.
Oh, yeah, directly, yeah. Yeah, that just changed the whole show.
Definitely.
Because it's not just one person just... It's like with Feminist Trash.
Yeah.
When they came on stage, they started dancing and it just brings the mood.
It sets a mood and for me it's important because I bring a lot of energy when I perform and I feel like it gets the crowd up already with me and a bit more on board.
Yeah.
I've found. I even started trying to do that when I was hosting different places is like play some funky music so I can come in dancing so that people get it gives an impression of what they're going to expect, I guess.
Yeah, I see. Okay, awesome. And you have your own solo show?
Yes.
How many days are you doing of that?
I'm doing 6 nights.
6 nights?
Yeah.
In a row?
Yep, in a row. From next Tuesday.
Are you excited?
Yeah, actually I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I think I'm more excited for that. I shouldn't say that, but for tomorrow night, because tomorrow night I feel like it's been harder to promote and plan for just because there's so many people and I've just come back to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And it's amongst the comedy festival.
Yeah.
Whereas the solo show has felt, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what it is. Something about it has been easier. And I guess maybe because it's just me doing it that I know I'm like, I know all the bits that I'm doing.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I'm excited to put them all together.
Yeah.
And the same, there's dancing that.
Yeah, of course.
And the camp characters and silliness.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And what made you want to like? I haven't done a solo show. I'm planning on doing it next year. What made you want to like start it?
I think having organized like these cabaret shows and hosting and some of the theater groups we work with, I hosted one of their nights, and I was coming back to Australia, and I was just like, you know what? All of this has taught me when you lock it in, you have it done by the time the day comes around.
Yeah,
because you have to.
Yeah.
And I thought I would probably kick myself more if I came back to, and especially I know Melbourne, it's not like I have to get used to it again.
Yeah.
And I didn't put it on. And I had actually applied to work in the marketing team for the festival.
Okay.
And that's kind of what convinced me to book my flight. Because I was like, I'm probably going to get this. And then I can see so much comedy. Exactly. And then I didn't get that. And I thought all that work I was going to dedicate towards that. Yeah. Why don't I put all that marketing experience? Because I already have experience in marketing, like towards putting on my own thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And I thought it'd be really good experience too, because I knew I haven't been in Melbourne for a long time, so I'm going to have to hustle to get people in.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is going to force me. I kind of wrote down all the things I'm going to have to do before I came back to Melbourne, because I'm like, I know I'll talk myself out of it once I'm here.
Yeah,
but I was like, I need to go out on a flyer. I need to dance in the street. I need to be silly. I need to make stupid videos every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to force myself to make a video every day on Instagram, which
I've been doing. Yeah.
And it's made it grow. Everything's been growing.
I've noticed your followers have been going up.
It's strange.
And plus, your views are getting at least 1,000 views.
Yeah. It's really like boosted. And at first I had little voices being like, who are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, what does this matter? You just posting the same people.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Who cares? And then I was like, no. I'm forcing myself to post every day just as a thing.
Yeah.
And it started working. And same with, I went out flyering. Don't know how many ticket sales I got, but I got a lot of people interested.
Yeah.
And because I bought a speaker and I was just dancing in an I Love Paris shirt, handing out flyers.
Yeah. And you filmed that as well.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And so, yeah, and kind of all that has helped a lot. And so that's why I'm like glad I've done it, because no matter what, it's really forced me to get out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
More than I was doing before.
Mm.
And I was like, it's kind of a good way to just get your face in the network too, because I'm sure a lot of comedians in Melbourne who have never seen me, like, who the fuck
Yeah,
is
of course,
this
yeah.
weird? Who's this Australian?
Yeah.
Who does he think he is?
Yeah.
What's going on? Where did he come from?
Yeah.
Why is he just everywhere?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's kind of helps. You just have to, yeah.
You just have to do it.
We all know it, but it's hard to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
So this deadline has helped me just like do it.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm planning, like I said, I'm on to do my my solo show next year, and that's what I'll have to do.
If you're here in October, you could do the Melbourne Fringe.
Oh, there's Melbourne Fringe.
There's a Melbourne Fringe in October.
Are you going to do it?
Probably if I'm here. I'm just currently figuring out what I'm doing for the rest of the year.
Because you don't know. You don't know if you're going to go back to.
Yeah, I kind of want to do Edinburgh Fringe.
Edinburgh Fringe, yeah.
Which I'm trying to book in now.
Yeah, I heard that's a whole different game.
Yeah, I know. It sounds insane, but I was like, oh, you got to try it once and then you'll get better at it.
Yeah, it's so funny how like Edinburgh is just known for that.
Yeah,
like it's known for historically for loads of things, but it's just like
the Fringe.
But the Fringe over there is like,
yeah. All the UK comedians go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, international. Everyone goes there.
Yeah.
Even not the stand-up comedy, like.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah, so you're going to do your show there.
Yeah, that's the plan. Is like, because I would have already done it. Go do the same show there.
And it's called Joshy in Paris.
Yeah.
And it's about. Is it you playing the French guy from your Instagram?
No, but that comes in.
Okay.
That just seems to be doing well. So,
yes.
And if living in France has given me anything, it's being able to impersonate a French person. Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of like caricature people.
Yeah, it's not even a real person. It's really like a clown, essentially. Like,
yeah,
it's a clowny character that I've performed as well, in Paris and then here.
I was told, because when I first came to Australia and working with the comedians, and I'll tell them I'm French, they would always be like, "Oh, you don't sound French," and I'll be like, I'm also grew up in English, and they'll tell me about this British comedian who would play a French character. Yeah, Marcel Dupont.
Lucan.
Yeah. Have you watched his?
Someone only told me about him 2 days ago because
really?
I've been doing like French stuff, and I was like, "Is he?" And then I just briefly Googled who. I didn't see all of it, but yeah, he seems to have made success.
Yeah, like
being barefoot as a French person.
Exactly. Yeah, he does. He's not even French. But
that's crazy.
He just plays this French character, and people love it.
It's so funny to me that one thing I have realized is all the accents you are not allowed to impersonate and make fun of, but French people are fair game to the whole world.
That is true.
And I'm like, it's kind of unfair, but it's like, why? And I even had the thought, like, you could make fun of you could impersonate a Spanish accent, but if you did a Mexican one, that could be a problem.
Yeah, it is true. Why?
And I'm like, it's the same language.
Yeah.
Same as if I was doing a French accent, it's fine. But if you did like an African French accent, that'd not be okay. And it's because I guess it's like punching up because like they're Western powers historically.
Historically, yeah, of course.
But I'm like, maybe in the future, if France becomes a persecuted people,
maybe
they're gonna go back and they're gonna cancel me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
making fun of them.
You did white face.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you did French face.
Yeah, French face.
Frog face.
Yeah, Parisian face. That'd be funny.
So yeah.
Yeah. But awesome, and it's
Yeah, but the show is a mix of it's kind of stand up in it. A lot of my stand up storytelling anyway with punchlines.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of storytelling. Like really getting into all the elements of the story, like acting it out and stuff at times with music and characters. So there's this French character and then also this like bogan, this like dirty Australian uncle kind of character that it's kind of like the men I grew up around. And then it's more a tale of moving to Paris, but it's all exaggerated and very theatrical. It's essentially just crafting a story. A lot of it happened to me, but it's just kind of giving it the being in Paris gives it like a storyline.
Yeah, okay.
That I can wrap up all the bits in.
Do you have like a setting, like scenery, like the Eiffel Tower?
Not really, because the stage doesn't.